Thanks. At first, I thought it'd be a lot easier to go after Adela because she's like only 15, but after her speech, I'm kind of nervous, so, you know, gotta bear with me a little. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Christine. I am Louisa's maid of honor, and Louisa and I met in junior high like 20 years ago. Back then, we were only children, and so Louisa and I think, immediately bonded over the fact that we were only children, and we were just inseparable from the start. So, because we were only children, I think we had a lot to learn from each other, and I don't know what you learned from me, but I definitely learned two things, definitely, for sure, and there's probably a lot more that I'm not going to list right now, but back then, I definitely learned two things. Number one, I learned how to put on makeup. My parents weren't as liberal, and they wouldn't let me buy any makeup, so I'd always be like, can I go to Louisa's for a slumber party? And then we'd go to her house and like just douse ourselves in makeup. The second thing I learned from her definitely was that I learned how to talk to boys. I mean, you can't tell now. You can't tell now because Louisa's a married woman. But back in junior high, every night, I would get a phone call from a boy, like some boy. Hey Chris, should I get Louisa yellow roses or red roses? Do you think I should get them delivered to her house or to at school? Is her dad gonna get mad at me? And really, that was my first conversation with a boy. So, you know, it's pretty cool. But 20 years is a long time, and we've been through a lot together, and I think that I'm still learning from Louisa. We lived together for 3 years after college, and I learned that Louisa is a very hardworking person. Louisa's very accomplished. She has a great career. She has great credentials. But I really learned that she works hard for it. And she never complains. She works long hours, and she never complains, and that's how she has all her many achievements, and I think that's really great. Something else I've learned from Louisa is that she's really generous. I don't know if anybody here has been to a barbecue at Louisa's or a dinner party or anything, but when she has a dinner party or barbecue, it's always the best food. Like, my fiance will only go out if it's Louisa's. Like, usually, I'm like, hey, babe, let's go to dinner somewhere. And he's like, no. I'm like, but Louisa's cooking. Oh, okay. We're going to go. So she's really generous. And, you know, it's not just about the food, but she's generous with a lot of other things, for those of you who know her. Another thing that I've learned about Louisa is that she's really loyal, and she's really compassionate, and she treats people she loves really well. And I see the way that she treats her family. She goes and visits them all the time. The way she is so generous with her sister, like she was mentioning, Adela was saying that she buys her designer jeans and clothes, and it just really wishes that I really was Louisa's sister instead of just like a pseudo-sister. But Louisa's so great, and she treats Matt the same way, and I think it's great. And I'm feeling really lucky that I'm a part of her inner circle and that she treats me the same way. Anyways, enough about Louisa. So I met Matt when Louisa met Matt because we were roommates at the time. We met about 8 years ago, and at first, I have to admit, I was on the fence about you. I was really thinking, like, really? Matt? Who is this guy? Why is Louisa spending all her time with him? Like, why is my best friend not going out to dinner with me? But of course, they've been going out forever, and I've gotten to know Matt over the years, and I found out that he is just a really great guy, and he's warm, and he's compassionate, and he's really giving, and he's really inviting, welcoming. Like when they got engaged last summer, we all went out to dinner, and then Matt invited my mom to their honeymoon. He was like, I think we're going to go to Asia. Your mom should come. I could practice my Chinese. And my mom, I told my mom later, and my mom was like, no. Why would I want to go on their honeymoon? That's weird. But anyway, so my mom's not going. But I'm sure you guys will have a really good time, and I think that you guys are going to have a great life together. And I just wish you all the best, and I think that you guys are just made for each other, and you guys really bring out the best in each other, and I'm really, really happy for you. And like your mom said, she's really ready to be a grandmother, and I'm ready to be an auntie, so I'm ready whenever you are. And that's it. So cheers to the happy couple. And I don't have a drink, but...
Thank you very much indeed. Don't forget the hugs.